At the beginning of the story, we see that an American Navy aircraft was returning to its base after the war. Suddenly, the plane lost its way. The radio signal was also not working properly. The three people on the plane, Mark, Ulrich, and Pastura, realized that the situation was bad. By looking at the wind in the sky and the waves of the sea, they tried to estimate in which direction their ship would be. At first, they thought they were heading in the right direction. But even after flying for half an hour, they found no sign of the ship. The biggest problem was that the plane's fuel was now almost finished. To handle the situation, Mark ordered that the last remaining bomb be thrown down so the plane could become lighter and stay in the air a little longer. But this solution also did not work for long. Then Mark told the two companions sitting behind him that now they would have to land, because the fuel was about to run out completely. He said to quickly gather the necessary supplies and get ready for landing in the sea. Such a situation was completely new for all three of them, so they were very nervous. Even then, they controlled themselves and quickly started preparing. Mark slowly brought the plane down. Landing a plane on the sea is very difficult, because if the balance is disturbed even a little, the plane can flip over. But Mark had years of experience, so he landed the plane very carefully. His landing was almost perfect. Pastura received a minor injury, but Mark and Ulrich were completely safe. The plane had not broken apart yet, but it was clear that it would not stay afloat for long. So the three quickly opened the upper door. As soon as Mark came out, he immediately began opening the life raft. Ulrich was gathering the necessary supplies. Meanwhile, Pastura got into trouble. His seatbelt was not opening. Just then, the plane started sinking rapidly into the water. Within moments, water began filling inside. Pastura tried with all his strength. Hearing this, all three became worried. Mark said to remove the shoes and throw them away, so the weight could be reduced. Ulrich and Pastura threw their shoes into the sea. But they noticed that Mark had kept his shoes safely with him. They found this strange. Mark explained that if they ever saw land, one person would need to wear shoes and go look for help. Time kept passing, and the thirst kept increasing. Mark could no longer tolerate it. Out of helplessness, he collected urine in his shoe and tried drinking a little. He felt that he could tolerate it. Then he drank a few more sips. Ulrich felt disgusted seeing this, and said that no matter how thirsty he became, he would never do such a thing. On the third day, after waking up, they again acted as if they were drinking coffee. But now this joke was making them even weaker. Both hunger and thirst kept increasing. Mark understood that now something had to be done. He said to check the supplies. Maybe they could find something with which fish could be caught. Ulrich searched and found something like a thin wire. Pastura found a magazine. He looked at it carefully and immediately thought of a method. He removed the bullets from it and then started taking out the spring from inside. All three now fixed their eyes on him because perhaps this was going to become a new way to save their lives. Now, a small ray of hope started appearing to them again. They tied the plier below like a weight so that the hook could sink properly in the water. Then Pastura tore a piece of his red scarf and attached it to the hook so it would look like bait. In this way, their simple fishing setup became ready. Ulrich became very excited seeing all this. Without wasting time, he picked up the set and threw it straight into the sea. He was catching fish for the first time, but perhaps luck was with him. After a short while, he felt a strong pull. Nervously, he grabbed the rope, but the fish was very powerful. Handling it was beyond his control. Then Pastura immediately came to help him. Together, both of them used all their strength, but in just 2 seconds, the rope was pulled hard and suddenly snapped. All three remained silent for a few moments. They could not believe that the fish below was even stronger and hungrier than them. They quickly prepared another hook again and started trying once more. But this time, luck did not support them. For the next 2 days, they repeatedly cast the hook, but not even once did any fish come near. Now the situation was getting even worse. By the 5th day, without water and food, they had become very weak. The act of pretending to drink coffee in the morning was no longer possible for them either. Pastura's thirst had now become unbearable. He looked at the vast sea in front of him and reached out to take water, but Mark immediately stopped him. He explained that drinking seawater would increase the thirst even more and make the body weak very quickly. Mark said that now they should move as little as possible so their strength could be saved. But Uldrich said in a tired voice, what would happen by just sitting like this? They did not even know in which direction they were going. Mark calmly said that he had made an estimate. As soon as he started taking out his instrument, he felt something else in his pocket. He quickly took it out, but it was nothing special. It was just an ordinary pencil. Even then, a slight smile appeared on Mark's face because this small thing could now prove very useful for him. He thought that with it, he could write down the direction calculations and keep hope alive. Now all three decided that they would not lose courage and would try to stay alive no matter what. After this, Mark immediately picked up a life jacket and quickly drew a simple map on it. By combining the direction of the wind, the movement of the water, and the estimates from the small tool he had, he determined their position. After a short while, he understood where they were. Mark said that if the wind kept blowing like this, they could reach a small island not very far away. Hearing this, hope returned to the faces of all three once again. But Pastura expressed concern that if the wind kept changing direction repeatedly, they would not be able to reach that island. Then, his eyes fell on the life jacket, and a new idea came into his mind. He said that if they could control the direction of the water a little, the path could be managed. He immediately told Uldrich to take out the side rope and told Pastura to find some wire. He himself again began estimating the direction. Then he told Pastura to tie the 3 corners of the life jacket with wire. After that, he connected the rope brought by Ulrich in the middle. In this way, they created a simple device to resist the water. Mark threw it into the water, and immediately their raft slowly started getting pulled in a fixed direction. Now, even if the wind changed, they could manage their direction with this method. Seeing this, the three felt some relief, and the hope of living once again awakened in their hearts. But the next 2 days were still difficult. They did not get even a single drop of clean water. The strong heat of the sun was making their bodies even weaker. Their lips had dried up, and even speaking had become difficult. Exhausted, they looked upward and prayed. That very night a light rain suddenly began. The three became crazy with happiness. They drank as much water as possible, and also filled the small bag they had. Every drop of rain was nothing less than a blessing for them. Now, their problem of thirst was over for some time. Now, it was the turn of food. Coleridge had been trying to catch fish for many days, but got nothing. In anger, he picked up a knife and started striking here and there in the water. Music. Suddenly, he felt that he had caught something. Mark was just about to stop him when Ulrich pulled something heavy. When he pulled it up, it was a small shark that Pastura was firmly holding. Together, the three controlled it. Coleridge could not wait and immediately started cutting and eating it. Tormented by hunger, all three attacked the fish. After many days, they had gotten food, and they quickly started eating it. Within a short while, their bodies began recovering a little, and the strength to live returned inside them once again. Even after filling their stomachs, they carefully stored the remaining parts of the shark. Music. Just then, a new problem appeared. While cutting the shark, the pieces that had fallen into the water caused many more sharks to gather nearby. They started circling around the raft. Although as long as the three did not enter the water, they were safe, the fear still remained constant. In the middle of the night, Ulrich suddenly started feeling very restless. Perhaps because of eating too much shark meat, his music body was not feeling well. He got up and went to the edge of the raft and started washing his face with water. At that moment, he forgot that sharks were moving below. Suddenly, a shark grabbed his hand. Ulrich panicked, but he immediately jerked his hand free. Hearing the noise, Pastura woke up and immediately started firing the gun toward the water so the sharks would go away. Mark quickly checked Ulrich's hand. The good thing was that the injury was not very deep. There was only a slight wound on the surface. Pastura tore his scarf and gave it to Mark, and Mark gave him simple treatment. After this, Ulrich sat in one corner and rested, while Mark and Pastura stayed awake and kept watch. Days kept passing, and before they realized it, 8 days had passed. The little water they had was now also close to finishing. For many days, they had gotten nothing to eat. Hunger and weakness were both increasing. Once again they looked toward the sky and silently prayed. But this time, they received no help. Ulrich tried many times to catch fish, but every time returned empty-handed. Now they just sat quietly and tried to save their strength. Time kept passing slowly, and the 15th day arrived. Suddenly, Ulrich asked Pastura for the gun. Pastura thought that perhaps he had now lost hope and was about to do something wrong. Even then, he handed over the gun. But Ulrich calmly asked, "Do you people want to eat meat?" Pastura thought that he was thinking about Mark, but when he looked carefully, he saw that a seabird was sitting near Mark. Ulrich immediately took aim and fired. The bird fell far away. Mark immediately jumped into the water and started going toward it. Just then they saw that a shark was rapidly moving toward him. Ulrich nervously tried to fire again, but this time the gun got jammed. Mark had also realized the danger, but he did not leave the bird. He quickly started swimming back. The shark came very close to him. The two sitting on the raft were loudly telling him to hurry. Mark used all his strength and at the last moment reached near the raft. Both of them grabbed him and pulled him up, and the shark remained just a short distance away. All three were breathing heavily, but they had survived. Now they had that bird in their hands, which was going to become another support for their life. Then Ulrich said that if birds were found here, it meant that land could not be very far away. But Mark explained that this was not an ordinary bird, rather a bird that could fly very long distances. Therefore, it could not be said for sure that land was nearby. Slowly time kept passing, and the 20th day arrived. One morning when Mark opened his eyes, he saw that the other two were in deep sleep. He immediately panicked and loudly blew the whistle to wake them up. As soon as they woke up, he angrily started scolding them. Music. He said that if they kept sleeping like this, they could miss any opportunity, like an island passing nearby or the direction of the wind changing, and they would not even be able to handle it. Ulrich could no longer stop himself. In anger, he started questioning Mark. He asked how all this could happen and on what basis that map had been made. When they didn't even know where they were, how had Mark estimated the place? His questions kept increasing, and music. Mark became silent. Then Ulrich asked what he had been doing before the accident, and how they had suddenly lost their way. After remaining silent for some time, Mark told the truth. He said that he had fallen asleep for some time, and by the time Pastura woke him up, the plane had already drifted off course. Hearing this, both of them were shocked. They could not believe that a pilot could fall asleep during a flight. They felt both anger and sadness in their hearts. They felt that because of this mistake, they were in this condition today. Mark also deeply regretted his music mistake. He apologized to them, but he knew that an apology alone would change nothing. Now the most important thing was somehow reaching land. After some time, the three calmed down and decided that now they would move forward together. They trusted the map made by Mark and kept moving in that direction. This time, to move the raft faster, they used the shoes saved by Mark and pushed the water backward to move ahead. Time kept passing, and they again started becoming tired. The strong sunlight and lack of water made Pastura very weak. He was almost lying down. Just then, the weather suddenly started changing. They thought that it would rain again. Therefore, they got ready. After a short while, heavy rain started, and they quickly collected water. But suddenly the weather started changing again. The wind became stronger, and even the color of the sky became strange. Now they felt that something even bigger was about to happen ahead, and this new trouble could create more difficulties for them. Along with the strong wind, a wave several meters high rapidly came toward them, and in a single blow flipped the raft over. All three fell directly into the water. For a few moments, everything was scattered. But the good thing was that none of the three received serious injuries. They immediately recovered, called out to each other, and together tried to straighten the raft again. After a lot of effort, they managed to flip the raft back properly and quickly climbed onto it again. After some time, they came out of that dangerous area. Now all three were completely exhausted. Their bodies were giving up. After this, for many more days, they kept drifting in the sea. Now their condition had become very bad. Hunger had made them completely weak. Mark could no longer tolerate it and took one sip of seawater. Just then, Ulrich suddenly said that he could see something far away. At first, no one believed it, but when all three looked carefully, there really was a small island visible there. Seeing this, new life returned inside all three of them. Their tiredness and hunger seemed to disappear for a moment. Using all their strength, they started rowing the raft in that direction. After a short while, they reached that island and finally stepped onto land. When they looked carefully, they realized that people also lived there. This was nothing less than a miracle for them. At last, they were saved. After wandering in the sea for a full 24 days and traveling nearly 1,000 miles, they got their lives back. It was a true incident that shows how important courage and